turn one accident, I think you're going to see that uphill chicane. Somebody's going to go side by side and they're going to hit each other.
I do agree on the potential side-by-side uphill. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to round 2 of the Fat Limits Season 5 competition. We come to you live from South Beach, hot Miami. This is going to be a standard format, one-shot qualification, sprint race, and 50% feature. This is my first time hosting, so I really hope that all these settings are right. They should be. They've been double-checked by our in-car reporter, the cohort, along with the stewards and admins, Big Moist. We're looking and expecting big things. You did hear at the beginning of the broadcast talking about some potential danger zones here on the Miami circuits, street circuit, similar to that of Albert Park, but also a couple rhythm sections that you hear me talk about very often, those being the S's, similar to that of Jeddah as well. The two in particular areas we were talking, Big Moist putting a little bit more of an emphasis on Tier 1, where I was thinking it's going to be that uphill left-right chicane that's very tight. Last year we saw a couple cars kind of going to the inside of that. That's something we're definitely going to be looking for here for the races tonight. We're going
Corner
to hope the
cut.
best for that, and it's going to be very exciting to see what happens here in Miami, where it's not just hot in the temperature, but also on track.
Stream brought to you by a combination of Viagra and Dos Equis.
Party in the heat when the night is on. You know it. Going to go ahead and bring up the telemetry here while we're riding on board with Takeshi, who's dropping back fast. We're going to jump up now to the front. It is an all Ferrari thus far, but as I say that, Matt Attack drops back, now back up the front with Levski. Zeech now making a name for himself in the AlphaTauri. So you see those Ferrari-powered vehicles doing very, very well so far here through the early portion of the track as we are now entering into Sector 2. Nathan Pokus dropping back. He is your winner from last week. He is on a 2-race win streak dating back to last season. As we see in qualifying, again, the track limits, anything goes, but in the race, it will be a little bit of a different situation.
I got an invalidated lap time.
Oh no!
I don't
Big
care.
Moist dropping back into the back. Trying to cut those corners a little bit more than maybe he should have.
Sitting 18th anyway, so what does it matter? Slow here, man. I don't like this track. I don't like the tight turns. It's not a good track for the Aston Martin. Nichols, P15. Sheesh.
Let's go ahead and look real quick.
Wafts,
Zeech
loaded,
there.
Pyrex chaps.
Yeah, those Ferraris dropped off, doing very well through the beginning sector. Lepsky, though, the primary one at the top, dropping back to 10th after doing very good through the first half of the lap. As you can see, still very tight racing between our drivers. It is only really 2 seconds separating the majority of the field, the exception being Granny Pain, who had a little bit of issue there, and then our in-car commentator, Big Moist, with the disqualification for an invalidated lap time. Not exactly what we would have hoped to see there.
The stewards are cunts. They should have let me finish my lap. Let these boys bump and bang, trade paint up at the front, and then I'll pick up the scraps like the vulture I am. I think Pyrex is going to podium in the sprint race.
And then you see Pyrex, our steward admin, driving for the evening, saying, "No one take me out, please." Oh no. Doing a quick look, Pyrex Prism sitting in P4. Love to see it so far. Ooh, am I reading that right? DRS zone starting in P16 for the sprint. Yikes. Indeed, P16, P15. Wow.
Kind of glad I'm at the back for this turn one.
Absolutely, it's going to be exciting to watch as now our drivers are rumbling and thundering down into turn ones. We got lots of action already as cars are going very wide. Oh, and there's contact in the very beginning. There's going to be contact between Zeech and Loaded Beast, who's going to collect a few drivers. Matt Attack, I believe, and also now you see Prying Oak dropping back as well. I think Takeshi may have been involved in that a little bit. Absolute little bit of a mayhem there in melee, as we do have Pat Attack stuck in the P20 in the back. Must have been Pyrex then who got involved in that little bit of an incident. Not looking good for the steward who's doing the steward's drive tonight in that Aston Martin Aramco F1 team car. Unfortunately, I hate to see that, but that allows Woffs to get out to a very fast 1.5 second lead. That's going to help him out tremendously as he is currently sitting our fastest Sector 1.
Looping somebody, almost hitting the wall.
And we got some side-by-side action here with Prying and Takeshi. We're going to ride on board on that as they're going up into the chicane. We're going to see who backs up as now it is double wide, almost 3 wide. Everybody's going to very nicely follow in suit, in line with one another, and it's going to be a very successful turn that could have been better. As you see now on board, Prying really revving out those gears. High RPMs. Good thing this is a simulation game, or that would not last the majority of the race. That would result in potentially terminal damage. Got a little bit more action here going on with Snoopy and Granny Panty as Waffle Cinch first up. Oh, and there's almost contact between Snoopy and Granny Panty. Granny Panty almost getting into the outside wall there, coming out of the final, I guess, second to last turn there. And it's going to be Granny going in for a deep dive, but quickly Snoopy trying to get the undercut slingshot out of the turn. As he's going to, it's going to actually hurt Granny Panty worse as he's now going to lose the position to Pyrex Prism.
Pat Dog.
Pat Dog was already in P20. Honestly, not the worst scenario, though, for him starting back in the back of the pack for the feature. As we saw in the first turn, a little bit of contact between Zeech and I believe it was Loaded Beast really stacked up the field and caused some of those front runners in the top 2-3 rows to have a few issues. And really revving it out here. So we're going to jump back up to the front where we have Zeech and Nathan Pocus. Nathan didn't have the best starting position. Somewhere around about, I think it was P5, P6, now sitting up in P3. And he is hot on the tail of Zeech, hoping to just maybe buy a little bit of time without ERS, as he does have significantly more than Zeech. A little bit different scenario here for the sprint race. Generally speaking, we'd see these drivers really using a lot of their ERS to get a little bit of a gap to avoid the DRS detection zones for the cars behind them, but now we're starting to see it. Zeech very much now on the ERS. He's now in below 40%, while Nathan Polk is still sitting well above 60 at 65%. DRS zone, who started back in P15, P16, now with the rear wing damage, probably not affecting him too much. Probably picked up a little bit now as we see Big Moist DNF. And what happened there? And
I just spun it. I wasn't spinning the car back around.
Understandable. You hate to see that, though, for the team AMR. But, hey, that gives us for the next 2-3 laps one additional commentator here. So you're going to get the best of both worlds as we are riding on board still with Zeech and Nathan, as Nathan's making a move on the outside.
What a move. What a move.
Also, Zeech now hot on the tail of Waffles. Coming up through the chicane. Very nice exit for your Waffles. Zeech, though, trying to recover a little bit as both drivers get a little bit of the rear end, losing it there. Coming out of turn, I believe that is 16. And now with that DRS, where you're expecting to see Zeech easily pass Waffles here on the back.
Going to be wheel to wheel into the corner. Attack edges ahead just a little bit. Takes the inside line.
Right aboard Lotus Beast. Oh, and Lotus Beast gets contact from Prince Tomo. Oh, and he backs up in front of traffic.
Nichols with a
Beast
2-second penalty.
Completely ruining it for everybody here. Oh, no.
Iraq for a 2-second penalty.
Oh, no. Loaded Beast getting on the reverse too soon. causing mayhem.
They're just ruining
Pyrex
people's
working his way
races.
back up from it. Oh, that's expected to be a penalty
Boy,
there for Prince Tomo.
we got a three-way race now. Nathan caught up to these boys. A little bit of a
Indeed.
gap, but DRS range. They're still pulling away
Unfortunate for
from them.
Pyrex, unfortunate for Loaded and Granny Penny as well. Those three drivers all getting caught up as Prince Tomo did get into the rear of Loaded Beast, causing him to spin. Loaded Beast, though, backing up on the track, not the best look for him there. Maybe a little overly aggressive.
There we go. Down the back straight, our top three in line. Each getting a little bit of a gap on the exit, lost in the DRS range.
It did look like Zeech is a little bit better, as you mentioned, on the exit there. I believe it is turn 16.
Wasp just playing it smart, stay behind him, wait until the DRS, try and get him on the last lap. Yeah, top three are just pulled away.
And we already have our first ticket submitted.
See if Waston runs each down here. Fifth gear all the way through these S's back into the gas, coming up to this long left-hander. Zeech is getting a pretty good exit here. Off closing the gap, but I don't think he's closing it enough.
We'll see here. It's really going to come down into that final backstretch. I think that's where we're going to see the DRS come alive.
Getting a big
Zeech
run.
only had 8%. I think right here what he has to do is not necessarily pass him, but he has to get close. He has to nail this chicane exit in order to be right on Zeech's run.
Okay, that's right on Wasp.
Not going to help.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, and Zeech gets loose. Zeech gets very loose coming out there, losing the back end a little bit.
Oh,
Not the exit. Nope, that's it. That's all she
exit.
wrote. Zeech, though, is going, I think, to be safe on this because he got the better exit than Wolfs, who lost their rear tires a little bit. But we're going to see. It's going to take all the ERS.
He's going to the inside. They touch.
They touch just slightly, but plenty of room is given. Zeech is going to try to make the cutback, though. It's going to be a drag race down to the very... Oh, there's contact! There's contact between the two of them. Nathan Pocus is going to go ahead and take the first place in the sprint. Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be interesting to watch between Waffles and Zeech. That was an absolute massive blow to both drivers.
I told you, man. All Nate had to do was get on the ass of them.
Wow.
That's great.
Wow.
Wow. The last corner.
I'll tell you what, though, it didn't necessarily look like anything overly aggressive. I think it was a defensive move with an overtake. From the view I saw, it looked like they just both went to the same spot and then connected. But suffice it to say, I'm sure that there will be a submittal from one or both of those drivers into the new ticketing system we've instituted.
Yeah, Zeech said, my bad. Damn. Wow. Yeah, oh, sorry, Nicholas.
Wow.
You gotta post the clip if you want that P5 back, man. It's the way she goes.
So Takeshi finishing in P9, having to serve an 8th place grid drop from round 1 in Bahrain. He's going to start in P17.
Yeah, I just don't have any pace at this track. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's a tough one. No question about that. Definitely a tough one there.
Well, I have a different setup, but I don't know if I want to try it. I don't know.
Hey, really unfortunate, though, to see what happened there to our man Pyrex.
Yeah, that was rough. Uh, Good for Nate. All he had to do was stay up in the bunch with those two, and he got himself another sprint win. Is that four four wins now in a row if you're counting sprints included?
That would be indeed, I believe.
And as the having Charles Leclerc beginning of the season. Oh man. I don't know. What do you think, Hein? Do you think I
Wow.
should try out the other setup?
All right. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I don't know if I should try this other setup out or not. A Hail Mary, because that whatever I just ran was slow. It is run increased top speed. What a finish.
All right. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and get this set up for our weekend structure. Let's see. Let's get Pyrex in here real quick. Hey, Pyrex, quick question for you. It looks like Mr. Nichols here got a 5-second penalty that is apparently undue. He did not clip it, but we have loaded saying, hey, you never touched me. Are we wanting to give the position to him or no?
Good
I don't
talk.
know if you can hear me or not.
This is,
Yeah, good
this is
talk.
like the other day when Max was asking Woody questions and he just didn't answer.
Right.
You Lepsky lost connection.
Let's see here. Where's Jamie? Takeshi starting in the back, so it doesn't matter. So Takeshi, then hold my dong.
Yeah,
Jamie Shelby.
Pyrex said just give him the loaded said he didn't get touched and give Nichols the 5 seconds back. It's fair enough.
So we're missing Lepsky right now, correct?
Yeah, he said he's restarting this game.
So, well, we're gonna have a brief intermission here while we make sure to get the track ready to go. Oops, I gotta get. Let's see here. Settings. I forgot to roll some flags. Safety car on. We want immersive. There we go. Weekend structure. 50%. Dynamic. Realistic. Wonderful. I think we're good on all that. All right, we'll be back just momentarily here after we get Lepsky back in.
At 18,000 revolutions per minute, this isn't music. This is the scream of science. This is the inner world of pneumatic valve springs, of mean effective pressure, 300 brake horsepower per liter of displacement. The quest for the perfect four-stroke V8 naturally aspirated reciprocating engine. And in the middle of the hot metal, the carbon, the alloy technology, sits flesh and blood. Rising out of its carbon fiber monocoque, the coolest head. These are the eyes that can pick out a face in the crowd, as if motion were being slowed down. Not passing in a blur at 200 miles per hour. This is the pure mathematics of angles and aerodynamics, the physics of G-forces and friction, and the raw instinct to race. These are the masters of speed. This is Formula One.
And it's lights out and away we go!
So Nathan Chaps, Matt, Tomo, DRS, Waffle, Zeech, Jamie. Yep, that's ready. Well, let's see what happens here.
Hopefully nobody readies up too fast. But we shall see.
Pyrex is now glitching, saying on and off. That's not good.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, now we are
Xbox.
here sitting in the paddock area in the pit garage prior to the start of our feature race here for Tier 1 in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium. And for those of you who have never seen the Miami GP, its debut was in May of this year as the Miami International Autodrome, which, believe it or not, is actually a temporary circuit, but one designed to have a permanent feel. That meaning because it is hosted at a NFL stadium that is currently in use in the
That
fall
dog
and
just
winter
spinning.
months, they have to break it down and then rebuild it prior to the start of each year, which, hey, that would make me a little bit uneasy, but they do it for a number of street circuits such as Monaco and other tracks that do take place on the street. So something that's been done for many, many years.
The wings
Believe it or
on.
not, there's actually now 3 races here in the United States, that being Austin, Texas, Miami, and now in 2023 in the fall, I believe it is November, we're going to see Las Vegas as well. It looks a little bit like a pig, so if you end up getting a craving for bacon,
Somebody
it's
ready
very
up,
understandably
right?
as to why.
You sons of bitches.
Miami is going to be a 5.412 kilometer circuit with 19 turns and 3 DRS zones.
A lot of
The
people
longest
start
of which
off
is going to be
hard.
that final stretch coming down. Actually, I should say longest of which is going to be the second DRS zone coming right after that uphill chicane coming out of T16. As you can see now, the drivers are all ready to go on the line. The lights are out and they are now moving away. Let's go ahead real quick as we get down into T1 and see exactly what the tires we're starting on. It is going to once again be a mixture as it's looking, a little bit of contact there as they go 3 wide, but they're going to straighten it out a little bit. It looks like we're going to be okay and make it through the majority of the turns. Nope, I spoke too soon. We do have a yellow flag. Oh, massive pileup in the back of the pack. Massive pileup. 1 Alpine DNF'd. 1 Williams DNF'd.
Got a VSC already.
No, and that's going to be a full course safety
car.
Lap 1, Jamie Shelby done, Chap's done.
Hope you boys are ready for a bunch of tickets.
Oh my.
Good job, fellas. So proud of you boys.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, how many cars got
Well,
taken out? 3? 4?
Two cars taken out.
Couple of them with damage.
Yeah, that not looking great. Sorry, as we bring him to live telemetry. Jamie Shelby, Chaps, done. Massive damage for Waffles, front wing damage, Lepsky, front wing damage, Granny Penny, front wing damage, Pat Dog, front wing damage, Hold My Dong, Pyrex, all front wing damage, as well as Chaps.
Hate to see it.
Wow.
Told you, man.
That, well, if you're
It
going to
wasn't
safety
turn
car,
one,
I guess
though.
it was not, but I'll tell you what, those those drivers on the hard tires definitely benefiting from the safety car being earlier on rather than later, as we now see a plethora of drivers making pit stops. It's going to be a fury now as we have 6 drivers in the pits, all going ahead and making up. While we're under here looking at these drivers getting their pits, which we can only assume is potentially throwing on soft, hards, mediums, we're going to see what happens here because they do have to put on tires as we have 6 cars now pitting. A lot of them all going to the mediums, so a little bit of off-strategy play now. But real quick, let's go ahead and bring up this race director menu if we can and see exactly what had happened there for Snoopy and get a look at the incidents. It looks like Snoopy had a severe collision with Granny Pandy that resulted in a 5-second time penalty, as well as Jamie Shelby, who had a collision with Azchap. So it looks like potentially Jamie Shelby and Azchap's getting together, and that's what created that. Actually, it looks like it might have been Jamie Shelby into Waffles, which then triggered what I can only assume would have been that fury of contact between Jamie, Azchaps, Pyrex, John C., the whole 9 yards. You can see it on our board right here. Unfortunately, just massive, massive terminal damage here for Jamie Shelby and Azchaps. Looking like some contact between the Williams and Red Bull initially.
Guys that started on the hards go to the mediums and do a medium stint the entire way. Get your tire requirement out of the way. Boy, oh boy.
Ticketing system getting some love here.
Yeah. Dumping tickets in already.
Actually, not too bad. Only 2 so far.
What a wild start. I feel like fish out of water on these hards. I feel like I should have came in and just put mediums on.
You know, you say that, but I'm not necessarily that would have been the play, because this is actually going to allow you to potentially go on to those soft tires towards the end of the race. Being that we still have Pyrex in the pits again, presumably maybe putting on hard tires. Nope, he puts on mediums, so not really sure what he was doing there.
Put on a new set of mediums? He just put a new set on, didn't he?
He did indeed. Maybe he didn't like something.
Maybe they didn't change his wing. Wing damage, I don't know. He was adding some downforce. Crazy times. If the safety car is coming in, no, it's staying out. Slow.
I think the safety car is going to be in this time by. If you're just joining us now, we are on lap 3 under safety car conditions due to a fairly large pile up here in the mid-pack. Actually, it was really not the mid-pack, it was the front. As Azchaps was one of our front runners to start the session. Real quick, we'll go ahead and bring it back to the final results here of the sprint race. Chap sitting in P2, maybe not the best start because he did get a little bit of a tag from Nathan Pocus. Jamie Shelby was in P8, so definitely something happened there. And as you can see in the chat, if you are in the chat, as we see our drivers now warming up their tires, it looks like Chaps got a little loose and then got a little bit of contact after being loose by Nathan Pocus. I'm sure a clip will be submitted for that. The stewards are going to have to review due to an inquiry and kind of see what happened and if the car was actually turned due to the contact from Nathan Pocus or if that was a result of being just losing on his own. Now we are back under green flag conditions again. We're going to see if it can be a much smoother race here now that the cars are starting single file and have 3 laps under their belt. Big Moist having started back in P18, now
my
up
damn car.
to P11, being a little bit of a benefactor there from that mini pileup.
Oh, Mark, shut up about the overtake. I know, man. We're on hard tires.
And now we have Zeech looking to make a move on DRS. It's not going to happen this time by. Remember, after the safety car comes in, there is no DRS for the first 3 laps, so it is going to be all driver skill, a little bit of tow, and potentially the ERS, if you so chooses. Snoopy Oyster still has a 5-second penalty. That's going to have to be served, so even if he submits a clip because he thinks it may be given to him by mistake from the in-game stewards, he's going to have to serve it. There is nothing at all that can be done for him, so he is going to drop back in the back.
Cane. I don't know if he got pushed wide or what happened there. Yeah, Pyrex, they didn't change his wing. That's why I had to go in again.
We're going to continue to ride on board here, but instead of riding on the driver's, instead of looking at more of the television camera, we're going to go ahead and ride on board and go through the field very quickly as we got Woffs on the back end of Zeech, who's running P5 and P6, and you have Stabbing Cabin in P7 working his way back up from the midfield start. John C. Oh, we got contact. We hear Loaded Beast now in the wall getting passed by Granny Panty, getting back in line, but you can see where the car's not handling very well as he's just going to back out of the throttle, take the inside line, and let those drivers get around him. Miami, I know I said throttle, it was weird. I didn't like it either. Loaded Beast now jumping back to P18, letting those cars without the damage go past him. He's going to try to go ahead and pit. He's on the hards. Unfortunately for him, his strategy may be done, and he's going to have to go to a B, C, or D strategy now from those hards, probably going to the medium tires. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But then you have on board Nathan Pocus in P1, followed by Prince Tomo, who may have a penalty coming in the form of a grid drop for round number 3 at France due to a sprint race contact where it looked like he did spin out Loaded Beast. Mad Attack riding in P3, DRS in P4. Now we have Zeech, who's got Waffles not too far back, but Zeech looking to make a late braking move on the inside of DRS. DRS going to give plenty of room, but potentially getting into the outside wall on his own. This is eerily close to where Zeech and Waffles spun out in the final lap of the sprint race. Now DRS zone once again for Zeech, as he's now going to have a much better line going into turn 1 as he's got his full car on the inside of the Williams of the DRS zone. Second year for the Williams driver, running back-to-back while the other drivers did change up their teams and liveries. Williams retaining DRS zone and now also picking up Jamie Shelby, who unfortunately has a DNF from this race. And it looks like now Zeech is going to be in hot pursuit of Mad Attack, trying to get back up to Nathan Pocus and reclaim a potential lead that he did have last week for some time before Nathan's strategy would ultimately be the benefactor from a little bit of contact with Zeech and the Williams of DRS zone again. So those 3 drivers definitely something to look out for. That means Zeech, Waffles, and DRS zone running respectively in P4, 5, and 6. Those are your top 3 from last year. But the newcomer Nathan Pocus back out, hard charging in front at 1.6.
Oh,
Snoopy now having some issues.
Oh my God. Thanks, Snoop. Appreciate that.
And it did look like a little bit of a rear end from prying into Big Moise due to some type of contact there with Snoopy Oyster. We'll have to see if there's going to be a little bit of clip there, as we did just miss Zeech now getting past.
Now he's AI.
That's okay because it was in the DRS zone. Probably trying to clip something, but that is why we ask you to stream. Ooh. Big Moist now with diffuser damage.
Yeah.
That's going to make it a much harder car to drive for the next remaining 23 laps around this beautiful Miami semi-street circuit. And we're going to stay right here on this battle now as Mad Attack is now potentially in the realm of possibility of being overtaken by not just DRS zone but also Waffles. Now that Zeech has gotten around, and it looks like Matt's going to go wide, and the Williams is going to go ahead and with ease get around the Ferrari, and the Ferrari's not done yet. He's going to have to stave off now an attack by the Red Bull of Waffles through the DRS zone. We're going to see what happens. Both drivers have their rear wing open, and it looks like it's going to be Waffles who does have the advantage with the ERS, having that little bit of extra to get around him, and now they set their sights on the Williams of DRS zone as both drivers going very wide. Waffles down the inside, that's not going to be an okay, but fortunately for him, he did not advance his position. We're going to continue to ride on board here with the Red Bull and see what happens. Everybody being very mindful of that chicane cut because nobody wants to get a 10-second penalty because that will absolutely swing your race. And in a season where the drivers are this close in terms of their ability and drivability and racecraft and pace, that 10 seconds could put you from a podium position all the way back to not just outside of the podium, but outside of the points, as we have a very late break from Waffles pushing DRS zone wide. He's not going to take kindly to that, and you know he's not going to forget that. He's definitely going to return the favor. I would expect probably within the next 2-3 laps because guess what? Waffles now in the front. He's not within DRS range of Zeech, who's currently in P3. I would expect to see that Williams fight back a little bit now. You also have Stab and Cabin trying to drive in the honor of his teammate Chaps, who was involved in that not turn one, but lap one DNF going through, I believe it was the chicanes, turns 4 or 5, I believe it was, before that long kind of left-hand bull turn where you can kind of feel that throttle. Oh, and we got a car in the wall. I believe it was Mad Attack just grazed the inside of the wall. Not sure what's happening here, but we do have confirmation from the telemetry that Mad Attack now has significant front wing damage. Fat in the house.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
You know the boys in British Green love to see that familiar face popping up.
Wish I could have got past Snoopy without getting.
Yes, I did say
Alex.
throttle. Thank you, Alex Morris. It's been a day. Oh, absolutely fat. Nathan, we preach patience. We preach the ability to just play it as a chess match. He's been doing it in the past 2 weeks, now been the large benefactor from other people's mistakes and slip-ups. It's certainly going to be one to watch. Let's go ahead and jump up real quick to Zeech. Not really much to see here. Let's go through the field as we now have Stabin on the back of DRS zone. We also have John C. and Mad Attack. Mad Attack dropping back now with that wing damage. Snoopy Oyster still has that 5-second penalty he's going to have to serve due to issues. Takeshi being a little bit of a slow mover now as him and Levski now swapping back and forth on the positions. Let's go ahead and jump back here real quick and see what's going to happen, as it's not just Prying and Levski, but also going to be Snoopy and Mad Attack. That should be an interesting battle to see here, as they are now side by side. Oh, and there's contact between the two. Contact between Mad Attack and Snoopy. Uh-oh. Snoopy, though, able to get it going with very little damage, but that's going to stack up these drivers. We got a front pursuit as now he gets bumped from Prying Oak.
Oh,
Snoopy's
come
day just
on,
goes from
dude.
bad to
What are you
worse.
guys doing?
Ooh.
Levski gets
Moist
into
was being
me.
put into the wall by Takeshi. Not by Takeshi, excuse me, by Levski. Takeshi, though, riding on board, getting a clean view of that. Now using that ERS and DRS to go ahead and clear.
High bomb on
actually-
Shane.
Oh, and he gets on the brake very hard, and then Moist gets into the back of Takeshi. That could potentially give him some front wing damage. Takeshi also with front wing damage. This is just now turning into a melee, as now we see cars diving into the pits. I believe that was going to be Hold My Dung in the Mercedes, and it is indeed. He's on those 8-lap old hards. Again, he was collected in that very beginning incident here. Loaded Beast now setting the fastest lap of the race at a 1:30. That is the second time he has set the fastest lap of the race. Nathan out on a little bit of a Sunday drive. Zeech trying to run him down, but Tomo being the big benefactor here, as he is within the DRS range as we get ready to come back into turns 14 and 15, and then coming out of the exit of turn 16 is going to get you in that DRS zone. All these drivers doing a phenomenal drive of not cutting that chicane. But I'll tell you what, Zeech, for whatever reason, just has a phenomenal exit coming out of this turn. I don't know what it is for him to be getting that extra grip, but phenomenal exits. We've seen a couple of drivers now try to utilize this very, very long backstretch between turns 16 and 17 to close the gap on Zeech when he gets that exit, but it just does not happen. They have to rely on that third and final DRS zone that comes down to pit straight, and I believe gets triggered just before the start-finish line as you see it now live. And he's not going to be close enough to be able to make he's not going to be able to make any run here now on that Alfa Romeo, Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo, that is. So far we have not seen any issues. Now we got Pyrex Prism and Levski battling back and forth, and that's because Levski going into the pits. Now we're going to start seeing some of that pit strategy come into play.
What are these dudes mediums looking like?
The medium tires, most people on the mediums are sitting around 30, mid 30s to upper 30s. So anywhere from 33 to 37%. Pyrex on 31, but that is because he pitted for 2. Loaded Beast now at 18, but those are on fresh tires. And then you have the hards all running between 25 and 30%. Tomo doing a phenomenal job on tire wear as well as DRS zone. Zeech, he's little bit, he's doing very well on that as well. All those drivers sitting around 30%, but Tomo doing the best along with DRS zone. Jumping back up here now as we have another attempt for Tomo, trying one more time, coming down this very, very long DRS straight in the back. He's gonna have to use a little bit of the telemetry. Let's go ahead and get that live data and telemetry up now. But I don't know if he's gonna have enough yet again. He's gonna think about making a dive, but you can see there he dives back in to get a little bit more toe. He hoping to get a little bit better exit, and for whatever reason, I have to think what he's trying here with the gears. It makes sense to try to rev it out. You see a lot of these. Oh, we got a Sector 3 yellow. Sector 3 yellow DRS zone. Very slow. Looks like he must have gone around. We missed that, but DRS zone going from P4, P5, now dropping back. With Mad Attack still very much having issues. Him and Snoopy Oyster had gotten together earlier, a little bit of tire contact going down in through the right-hander before that chicane that we've been talking about, turns to 14 and 15. So really in turn 12 making some contact earlier that resulted in Snoopy basically getting sideways, stayed off the wall, was able to recover very nicely, but that did stack up and allow for that little bit of accordion effect with Big Moist, Granny Panty, Pyrex, and the like. We've seen, unfortunately, Big Moist has dropped back from that, but Snoopy and Prying have continued on the battle. We're going to stay right here as there's not really a close battle yet to take, as now we see Snoopy Oyster making a big move with that DRS, with that rear wing open, going into, again, turn 12, where these two did make contact before. And a few drivers now, we'll jump back real quick. We're going to ride on board with Pat Dog. Just talk about, we've seen a lot of drivers right here going to the inside very much. That's not necessarily an okay move, but none of them have advanced position yet, so it most likely will be okay because it's not really an advantage. If anything, they're kind of cutting off their corner and they're going to have to diamond it a lot more and scrub some time off as they make those right-hand turns. DRS zone, he's going to be fighting with every little bit he's got. Mr. Nichols here out of the great state of Ohio. He's definitely going to be mad at himself on that one. I don't know if there was any contact at all or not on that, but certainly something substantial happened that allowed him to go around and lose a handful of positions. Nathan Pook is still out at a 1.2 second lead over Oizich, who still has Tomo within DRS zone, but Tomo unable to close that gap despite having multiple times, as now we have another car around. It looks like that's going to be Granny Panty going around. He is very hot in the tires, trying to save it. He's got the gears now, and he's going to have to be careful because he has cars coming very hot on his tail. There's one, there's two around. He's going to be able to rejoin safely. He's good to go, but he's not going to be happy at the result of that as well. And here riding on board Prince Dumbo, he's going to try once more, but he is nowhere near close to be able to make an attack. Sitting at 21% ERS.
Oh boy.
And sorry about that. We've been doing a little bit of moderating procedural administration work on the fly real quick, so I do apologize. But we've still not been able to see Tomo get around. But what we have seen is Zeech now closing the gap as Big Moist in the pits. Big Moisty Moist. What are we looking at? Phil's knees. Putting on, it looks like the mediums. Are you going on a two-strap strategy, or are you going to run these mediums to the end?
We're gonna see what the tire wear looks like. We might go for the one stop if they're good. See what happens here. Just got tired of trailing behind dudes, losing time, so I might as well throw some new tires on. Just in case we get a safety car. All those mediums are not as good as the hards right now. Different. Let these boys up front fight it out, bang each other into the wall. Be the vulture I am.
And Zeech still riding very much hot on the tail of Nathan Pocus, as we have the only real movement being now Loaded Beast and Stabbing Cab. And we're going to sit on board here real quick because these three drivers now coming down to the start-finish line on the pit stretch, weaving in and out of everybody here. If you were watching the sprint race, Loaded Beast backing up into traffic a little bit and just obliterating, I believe it was... I don't even remember who it was now, but it was not a good look, that is for certain.
Somebody got screwed on that.
Oh, indeed. It was not great. That is for certain.
Yeah, these boys are all bunching up back here from 14 up.
Yeah, it's not looking great. We're going to go ahead and stay on battle with this. Actually, real quick, we're going to jump to DRS and John real quick and catch this battle, because that is a three-car battle between the the McLaren, the Williams, and the Red Bull. We're getting little stacks of groups everywhere. You got P1 and P2 stuck together. Then you're going to have P5, 6, and 7 stuck together. Then it's going to be 8 and 9 stuck together. And then you're going to see 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 all stuck together as well. This is about the time where tires are going to be on that edge of tire degradation. They're going to potentially drop off, and it may not end all that well.
All these boys' hard tires fall off. Oh yeah, stabbing and prying, getting wheel to wheel, pushing each other. And Prying and Lepsky ghosting through each other. That's weird. Oh, I think Lepsky disconnected. Rubber banding everywhere.
Oh no.
I don't know what happened to Lepsky. He was in front of me and his car just disappeared.
Yeah, we did see a little bit of issue there for John. Well, John C. pitted, and we followed him as I'm working on some stuff, so I know Fat's going to have something to say to me on my wonderful television skills. I know you definitely want to say something, so feel free to type in the chat. Give me that hard time. It is what it is.
Got a Mercedes going in. Load it.
All right, we are back in the flesh. Sugar, so fresh. Nathan Pocus, your leader, did finally pit on those hards, trying to undercut Zeech. Now on the fresh mediums, Zeech, I think, is probably going to... Oh, nope, I spoke too soon. I was about to say, Zeech probably going to ride it out now and do what he does best, and that is extend the life of those tires. That early on safety car helping these drivers on the mediums. Let's go ahead and ride on board and see what he's going to put on. He is going to put on the mediums, I believe, as well. We'll see if anybody outside of Matt Attack puts on the soft tires. Matt Attack doing anything he can to make up some positions. He did start the day on the second row and now has since dropped back to outside of the points positions. Again, the only two cars that have DNF so far is going to be Jamie Shelby and Azchaps due to a lap 1 pileup. Not good for the man out of the West Coast. Woff's now in the front. I think Woff's is going to be one of those drivers to try to extend those hard tires as long as he can, along with Snoopy Oyster onto the soft. Snoopy doing a very good job along with Pyrex on extending the life of those tires to get the most out of them. Pat Dog as well had some issues after being... Oh, we got a car around. I can't really see who that is currently. I want to say it's Granny Panty.
Yeah.
As now we see Prying Oak and Pat Dog swapping positions. Pat Dog on those hards for once. The safety car worked in his advantage. Just it was way too soon here for Pat Dog as we ride on board with Prying Oak, who did finally end up making that pass around Pat Dog, who did a valiant effort of trying to keep him at bay for as long as he could. They're pretty spread out now, except for Snoopy Oyster and Pyrex, so let's go ahead and jump on board now, as we do see Snoopy on those 18-lap-old mediums and Pyrex on those 16-lap-old. They're going side by side of the exit turn, everybody getting plenty of room. It's going to be an absolute drag race now. Pyrex going to back out, and I think maybe try to take a little bit of DRS, but maybe not. I don't think it's going to give it to him. Neither one of these drivers is getting the DRS. That's not going to be fun for him.
Oh, I spun my damn car. Rest in peace, Hines.
I know, I heard it. I'm sorry, it breaks my heart. But we still have Pyrex Prism battling it out with Zeech and Snoopy. Snoopy actually getting around Zeech. So we're going to see what happened here with that undercut. I think is going to benefit Nathan Pocus, who's on those 3-lap old mediums, which is going to be 2 laps older than Zeech and Pyrex. But he is out to over a 3, almost 4-second lead now. Snoopy potentially holding up Zeech and could very well become his nemesis this race, as Zeech is going to use DRS to try to get around Snoopy. Now you see him making the dive to the inside. Snoopy going to try to fight back on the outside. It's not going to work. Tomo makes a very late break dive underneath that of Pyrex. Pyrex says, I'm on the older tires, so I understand. I'm going to pin anyhow, so you can have the position. Not my horse, not my race. So Pyrex now into the pits, presumably going on to the soft tires, and he's going to battle back and try to get a nice finishing position for the steward admin seat of the Aston Martin. Big Moist was up in the battle, in the mix for the points. Fortunately, you heard him mention earlier, he did spin out, but he's been surprisingly quiet in terms of the vernacular that he's using. Have not heard
Haven't been around anybody.
Accustomed swearing. So yeah, a little bit of a boring drive here for Moist. And indeed, Pyrex does go on those soft tires. He comes out of the pits in P11 with Matt Attack hot on his tail. You're going to see Matt Attack go ahead and get him, as now we see Prince Tomo getting around Snoopy Oyster. I think Snoopy, he's really banking on a late safety car, as we now see Hold My Dung, who has spun around.
Same spot.
I think there's just going to remain a yellow sector 1, no VSC, no safety car. That's not going to benefit Snoopy. Snoopy's gamble not going to pay off. Not only is he going to have to pit on those 20-lap-old mediums, who he is losing a good deal of time with. He still has that 5-second penalty that's going to have to be served, and there's nothing we can do about it. The action really, though, here is going to be with Matt Attack, Pat Dog, and Pyrex. So let's stay on board with these 3 drivers, because this is for the final podium position. And you do have Mad Attack and Pyrex on those softs with Pat Dog on the hards. Pat Dog can take these hards to the end, so he also is. And we got another car around, Granny Panty.
He retired.
I believe
That's
it is.
AI.
He did retire. So his AI doing what Cody's does and creating a little bit of a catastrophe hodgepodge here.
God, this track sucks, dude.
Levski now also pinning. He could very well pull out a fastest lap and take away a point from Loaded Beast, who I believe still is our fastest lap. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the telemetry and tell you who the fastest lap of the day is. That is still going to be Loaded Beast at a 1:29.806, but not that far off from Nathan Pocus, who is only at 23% old mediums. And now Snoopy Oyster picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's just adding insult into injury. So now not only is he going to have to serve a 5-second penalty in the pits, he's going to have 3 seconds on top of that. The man has just ineffectively taken his race out behind the barn shed, put a bullet in it, and ended its misery. At this point, you might as well just go ahead and say, you know what, I'm retiring from the race. You hate to see it from the young driver out of the Great White North. That is Canada. And by Canada, I mean Canada. Now Pyrex Prism getting around Mad Attack. He is now up in... Oh, and Snoopy Oyster now with a 5-second penalty into pit lane. Now up to 13 seconds. Ooh, that is just insult into injury for that gentleman. He's about 10 seconds away from getting disqualified from this race due to an accumulation of warnings and time penalties. Nowhere else really to watch is now we have a safety car. We got John C. around, I think it is, in a McLaren. Yes, that is John C. Now having to deal with Pyrex and Stabbing Cabin. So we're going to go ahead and stay on board here with this battle because it's the only one worthwhile watching at the moment. Pyrex hard charging now, having put on those soft tires for the remaining 8, I believe it was, laps at the time to go. Next up on his list, Stabbing Cabin. As I just mentioned just a minute ago, Levski could very well be the driver to steal that fastest lap from our top 10, and indeed it was. But it really wouldn't have been the top 10 because Loaded Beast did have it, and the closest person next to it was Nathan Pocus in that Ferrari. But we're going to go ahead and stay on board here as now we saw that Prying Oak is next up for Pyrex, as there is again a yellow sector. DRS zone again getting into issues. He's backing out in front of traffic. Oh God, and he collects Pyrex and spins Pyrex around. Oh my God. Goodness.
Yikes.
Oh my goodness. Pyrex was on an absolute heater. DRS driving and pushing himself way too much.
Always taking out my teammates.
Wow.
I don't want to see the admin team prosper.
Pyrex going from a very nice potential podium position, the way he was running them down. I don't think he would have gotten up to Waffles or Prying, but he was very much alive in the glory of love of getting a P5 position until Nichols trying, I believe, to get out of the way, but unfortunately just too tight of a track, not the right time to do it. Probably should have backed off the track. Not many places for Pyrex to go. He did pick up the wing damage as well, as you can see him pit now. You hate to see it. Mad Attack also, I believe, getting caught up in that as well, as you see him pitting for new softs as well. Heartbreak here for the AMR team at Miami. That looks like it's going to be another no points weekend for Aston Martin. As it runs right now, the only team potentially able to get, actually 2 teams that are able to get double points for both drivers, that being Prying Oak and Zeech in the Alfa Romeos, and also Prince Tomo and John C. in the McLarens. Actually, and I should say as well, Takashi and Nathan Boga. So 3 out of our 10 teams here are actually able to bring home double points finishes for their constructors' hopes. Oh, Granny Panty. Granny Panty getting sick, not able to pull a Lando Norris, and that's why he had to retire. As now we have a yellow sector 2 and 3. Snoopy still has 8 seconds worth of penalties.
They didn't change Pyrex' wing again.
Yep. Wow.
God, this
And he
game
picks
is
up a
so
5-second
trash.
penalty.
This game.
I've now made it so that anytime I pit, if I know I want to pit, I put it to yes. And even then, sometimes I've still had to not do it. Like, I've literally had to hit the wall as I'm entering the turn and hoping I don't DNF myself in order to get the wing changed. You know, you'd think for a multi-billion-dollar corporation to be able to do something right. But you know what? Let's go ahead and jump up here to the battle that is now potentially going to be in the next 3 laps, Nathan and Zeech. We were watching a great battle in the back until it happened. Now we see Snoopy Oyster trying to get the final final points position from Loaded Beast. Let's go ahead and jump to that real quick if we can, as we got a car around. We have a car around. I believe that was oh gosh, who was that? There's a car around in the front. It looks like that was potentially Loaded. I don't know what these two drivers are doing right now. They are all over the track. One's off track, one's on the track. They're moving around. It is Snoopy. It is Loaded. They are fighting. There was a safety car potentially for Matt Attacker Lepsky. Nope. Who would that have been? I guess Prime, potentially? Oh, that's what it was. Must have been Dung then. Okay. Trying to find it all. I think there's going to be contact between these two. And maybe just a little bit. Loaded now battling back to the inside. These two drivers going tooth and nail. Every point matters in the points championship. And my goodness, are these two. They have been within 1/10 of each other for the better part of a lap and a half now. Every corner swapping positions side by sides on entry and exit. And now you can see he's going to try to get the run on the outside and set it up for that chicane. Little Beast's going to have to back out, and we're going to have to jump up to the front now here in a second because we need to see the battle that is going to be Zeech and Nathan Pocus. Two great battles to be watching right now, but Loaded Beast for the moment has surrendered that position to Snoopy Oyster for P10, the final points position. He's really battling out, so let's go ahead and jump back between these two as now they're battling once again. DRS is going to allow Loaded Beast to get around him. Big Moist definitely hoping. Oh, and it looks like there was almost contact between the two, but potentially not. But keep in mind, Snoopy Oyster battling very hard. He does have 8 seconds worth of penalties. DRS Zone has 5 seconds as well. There's still yet to be points finishing shakeups happening. Ooh, we have just 2 more circuits upcoming around the track, as it is still a battle for the P1 position between Zeech and Pocus. This could be your pairing to watch for this season. Nathan Pocus joining us late last year and racing his way in as being in the top 8 points finishers for the Season 5 Racing Series. That was a 5-race mini-series. Oh, goodness gracious. Snoopy Oyster getting a little bit of loose there. Don't think there was any contact with the rear wing of Loaded Beast, but my goodness. Pyrex fasted last handily by at least a 10th, maybe almost 2. But this battle right here raging on for the final transfer position. We're going to go ahead and stay here unless we see that gap between our 2 front runners close, which Zeech did get around Pocus, largely in part due to the DRS. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here at the end. As I was mentioning just one brief moment ago, you two peanut galleries can just hold your horses.
Why am I being disqualified?
You just got disqualified?
It told me at the time. It did. Really? I do.
It didn't give you your tire change?
No, I'm on the mediums. I started on the hards.
So what's it disqualifying you for?
Not using the tire requirement. Yeah, this is a great game.
No way.
Yep, this is a great game. Love it.
I guess pit real quick. You got 1 lap left.
I'm just gonna DQ. There's just literally no point.
Might as well pit. But what I was saying a minute ago is
Oh.
Nathan and Zeech could be the pairing to watch this year.
Dog shit game from a dog shit company. I like that. I don't know how the game's showing me starting on mediums when I started on hards.
Yeah, that's something that we've seen in different
love
races,
it.
but I don't think we've ever seen this type of race right here. But
So
coming out
fucking
to the
dumb.
last little bit, that is a very unfortunate disqualification there. Go ahead and submit a clip of that, Moist, and we'll at least get you a position that's not a disqualification.
I don't care. I care less.
Oh, hey, there's penalties to be given out. I would submit it because that very well could get you in the points after all. So definitely, please submit that.
Man, I don't really know. I'm gonna submit saying I did 2 sets of mediums when I started on
And can we just
hards.
talk about how Nathan Pocus just made an outside
Yeah,
pass
he did.
on Zeech, come to the
See ya.
line for the win? Wow. Wow. Nathan Pocus using every last little bit of that DRS zone, takes a ballsy move on the outside into P16 and is able to stick it, getting that inside line for the final, going into 17 for the final 17, 18, 19 3 corners. Wow, what an absolute finish. Wow, what a finish. Snoopy Oyster again spinning out. Insult to injury for that man. That's not going to be fun. And Snoopy Oyster with a 5-second penalty. Oh, as we got a car spinning around. That, I believe, was Pyrex Prism saying, it's whatever. Race over, I'm done. Lap down. And it's going to be the Ferraris battling it out for the 2 final finishing positions as Lepsky gets into the outside retaining wall.
And you got Zeech talking about track extensions. Ugh. Dog shit fucking game, like always.
All right, well, what an absolute finish here at Miami with last lap heroics by Nathan Pocus bringing it home for Haas for 2nd straight victory on the season and 3rd dating back to last season in terms of feature races. If you are looking at it in terms of sprint races, I believe this is 5 or 6 in a row now in terms of straight P1 podium finishes. There you have it, your final order, with Pyrex Prism picking up the fastest lap. Typically, we try to do a little bit of post-race interviews, but unfortunately, we have to go ahead and get ready for the Tier 2 race. So, with that being said, thank you all for joining us for another installment of the Fat Limits F1 League. This is Season 5, Round 2, live to you from Miami. We head to France next Wednesday, or this upcoming Wednesday, I should say, for our first ever short session qualifying. That is an 18-minute qualifying session 4-hour drivers, followed by a feature race. It's going to be electric. We're going to see what happens, who's going to have the right strategy, and who is potentially going to mess up someone's line and their qualifying lap. We'll see here on Wednesday. Thank you once again for joining us. Stay safe and be careful.